Can't you just believe whatever you want to believe as long as you're sincere? I hear versions of that question all the time. And I think built into it is the idea that, we live in this very diverse world with people with all kinds of different political beliefs and religious beliefs and all kinds of beliefs floating around. And wouldn't it just be much more harmonious if, rather than tell other people they're wrong and try and convert them to our belief system, if we just said, hey, it doesn't matter. Believe whatever you want to believe. Be a Muslim, be a Hindu, be a Jedi, be a Christian, be whatever, as long as you're sincere. What could possibly be wrong with that approach to the world? Well, of course, what could be wrong with that approach to the world is it mistakes sincerity for reality. You see, you can believe something sincerely, but actually be sincerely wrong, and that wrongness have consequences. Let me give you a real-world illustration. Imagine that you're at Edinburgh Airport, you've just boarded the plane to fly to New York for a well-earned holiday, and just as you settle down in your seat, the captain comes on over the tannoy and he announces, he said, hey, I've got some really interesting news to share with everybody on the flight today. I've figured out that actually the winds are so strong in the jet stream across the Atlantic that we don't need the engines. The engines are just a con foisted on us by Rolls-Royce to sell engines. So actually what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn the engines off on the aircraft once we're at cruising altitude and just let the winds blow us all the way across the Atlantic. Isn't that exciting? Think of the carbon footprint it will reduce. Would you honestly, no matter how sincere that captain sounds, would you stay on that aircraft, or would you be running for the exit and getting off that plane before it takes off to certain doom? Of course you'd be getting off, because it doesn't matter how sincerely the captain has convinced himself that you don't need aviation fuel, ultimately that's going to end in disaster. And the same plays out through history. There are plenty of examples of people in history who sincerely believed things, but what they sincerely believed caused no end of chaos and disaster and tragedy. Think of Adolf Hitler and the Third Reich and the Final Solution, or think of Joseph Stalin and how his attempt to apply communism to the Soviet Union resulted in the death of hundreds of millions of people. You can be sincerely wrong, very, very sincerely wrong, and hurt all kinds of people in the process. You see, the best test for what you believe is not whether you're sincere, but actually whether what you believe is true. And when it comes to religious claims, this especially matters. The heart, when it comes down to it, the reason I'm a Christian, the reason I've been a follower of Jesus for 25 years is not because I believe it sincerely, although I do, but because I put it to the test. And I've looked very long and hard at the life and the teaching and the claims of Jesus of Nazareth and come to the conclusion that he is true and that it's trustworthy. But I guess the ultimate problem with making it all about the sincerity of a person's belief, no matter what they believe in, is of course it makes it all about me. It becomes all about how sincere I am, how intense my faith is, how passionately I believe something. And again, it just makes it very, very me centered. You see, at the heart of the Christian faith stands the incredible news that it's not about how strong your faith is. Jesus said you can have faith as small as a mustard seed, one of the smallest seeds in the world, if your faith is in the right thing. You see, it's not the sincerity or the depth of your faith that matters, it's the object of your faith. And for 25 years of being a Christian, my faith has sometimes been strong, sometimes it's been weak. But my faith has been in the one who is trustworthy, in Jesus Christ. He is the only one, I believe, in whom it is worth putting your trust. And whether your faith is small or your faith is huge, I encourage you, put your faith in Jesus Christ.